Hey, it's Tom. I'm still inside. I haven't left my house for over a week. I'm abiding by the stay inside order because I don't want to be part of the problem. I don't want this virus to spread. You know, I heard that if everybody in the world were to stay inside for 2 weeks, this virus would be gone from the face of the earth. That's how it spreads. We're all out socializing and intermingling with each other and shaking hands. And yeah, I know we've stopped shaking hands. And yeah, I know we stand 6 feet apart from each other. But I'm not having it. I'm just not going outside. I'm staying in. I'm doing this podcast every day until this thing is over. And it hasn't been all bad. I feel very fortunate. I feel very fortunate. I'm one of the lucky people that doesn't have to go work in one of these essential jobs that are vital to keeping our society alive. I do a podcast. I'm a stand-up comedian. The comedy clubs are closed. I'm staying home. I'm not going to run around, catch the virus, spread it to somebody else, have them spread it to somebody else, have that person spread it to somebody else, and so on and so on. It's not that I'm afraid of getting sick. I'm not totally afraid of getting sick, although I am actually afraid of getting sick, but that's not the reason why I'm staying inside. It's not some germophobia, some fear of illness. That's there, but it really is part of being a good member of society. If you really understand how this virus spreads, then you'll understand how you're really helping out by staying in your house, watching some Netflix, playing some video games, hopping on the phone or on Skype or on FaceTime or on Zoom, this new thing Zoom, with your friends, and trying to get through this together without spreading this disease. So, sit on the couch. Both of my grandparents fought in World War II. They were in Europe, fighting against the Nazis. And I'm supposed to be complaining because I'm being asked to sit on a couch. This may be the biggest event of this nature that has happened in my lifetime. A tragedy, a horrible event, but one that I'll remember forever. And I don't want to look back and think, man, did I spread that virus around? Or worse, I don't want to be hospitalized myself. I suppose it would be worse spreading it around, I guess. But I had this thought the other day. I was thinking, imagine being sick and coughing and coughing and coughing and not knowing whether you're going to live or die, and thinking in your head, all of this could have been avoided if I just sat on the couch, ate some Doritos, and played Grand Theft Auto. So, I'm staying home, I'm podcasting every day, and I'm going to be talking to my amazing friends, of which today I am excited to introduce you to, if you don't know him already, the incredibly talented Kii Arens, an incredible artist who's done designs for musicians like the Rolling Stones. Oh yeah, heard of them. Elton John. Who's that? Dolly Parton. I think I've heard of her. He's an incredible visual artist and a friend of mine and a neighbor. And he's nice enough to join us from his home studio today to talk about how he's dealing with this unprecedented crisis.
Hey, Tom.
How are you doing? What's up? Kii Arens on the phone. How are you?
Doing pretty well considering all that's going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is just. We've been chatting throughout the last few weeks as this has been unfolding. So it's not like this is the first time we've talked about it. But I mean, can you believe this? Just for our audience, what is going on here? I mean, this is. How are you coping with all of this?
I mean, it's. I hate to sound this way about it, but it's similar to the life that I normally do as an artist in my home with all the tools here. I was in a daze a couple of days ago, kind of going, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I'm feeling positively proactive in this new world we're in. I'm getting into these Zoom discussions where I'm engaging with people more, and in a way I'm engaging with people more.
Yeah, that's what I thought would be a really interesting subject for us to cover in this conversation for everybody listening. Just to paint a picture, we both live in Los Angeles. You live in Los Angeles, and we're essentially not leaving our homes. Are you leaving your home now, or are you still leaving a little bit? No, I'm not leaving.
I went and got dog food yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. And so, where'd you go, to a grocery store to get that?
2 blocks from me. I went to Bone Sweet Bone.
Oh, okay, I see.
And salmon dog food.
And so, how are you on the scale of cautiousness here? I mean, I when I went and did groceries, I brought a Lysol, I brought a travel Lysol, I brought Purell. I felt like I was, it was like a raid. I sprayed down my cart with Lysol, and then I immediately, after I touched anything, Purelled my hands, and then drove home and got in the shower when I got home, put my clothes that I was wearing in a spare closet that I won't touch for a few days till the virus dies off. I mean, this is the world we're living in. It's like, it feels like the end of the world to me sometimes.
Can't you take that clothes and put it in the washer on hot water and take care of it?
Yeah, no, you can.
Know?
Yeah, no, you can do that. Yeah, but I just.
I prefer to do that so that virus don't get off the clothes and go somewhere else. But yeah.
Oh, now I'm all freaked out.
I think that's really smart. And that's a smart message to put out to everybody. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I'm originally from Minnesota, and I'm noticing a bunch of peeps in my hometown are a little slow to the move here on it. And, it's like, should I let my kids go to a sleepover? I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
no.
I think I think sometimes people are maybe not as paranoid as me, and because my paranoia does exist in a good way. I mean, I also find it interesting reading about all of these different various scenarios. Always have been. I like going on YouTube and watching, fantastical and bizarre, UFOs and Sasquatch and a lot more, conspiratorial things like the pyramids were built by aliens. I've always been like that. So now with all the stuff that's flying around on the internet right now, it kind of draws you in. And when you get drawn in, you start to learn to decipher between, okay, this is a bunch of bullshit, and this is true, and this is real. And then you get the actual accurate information, and then you start saying, wait, why are you going for a walk in Runyon Canyon right now? My friends are calling up. Why are you going, out on the street and walking around and doing, Instagram live stories? I'm like not leaving, and when I leave, actually, I'm not leaving anymore. I left. My last time I left was 4 days ago for that, and I'm done. I'm not leaving. I don't have to leave anymore. I'm set up.
Good for you.
Good for you.
I mean, when the time comes in a month, 2 months, there's going to be something you're going to need. You'll leave. You'll have to.
Well, it's interesting.
I learned. Sounds like you're doing it the smart way.
Yeah.
They're talking about it being April 19th, but I'm not sure if that's the case.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the case either. I learned how.
And what do you do about delivery food? I couldn't resist. I went for 2 dozen Krispy Kremes, and
See,
I
not
may
me.
have got the coronavirus from the second dozen.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Not me, man. I'm not ordering food. No way. Not now. Not until I'm waiting at least 2 weeks until more information comes out about that. Because they say that the virus can't be transferred on food, but I'm thinking like, what about the cardboard box? What about the bag? What about, so I'm just thinking, nah, I have ordered stuff on Amazon, and this is a weird, interesting thing. I've never, and we're going to talk, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to let you talk in a second too. I know I told you I wasn't going to do this, but yeah, I said, I'm just more of a listener. I said before we got on the phone, earlier, and then here I am rambling away.
Here, Tom.
Well,
I'll give you a hug.
Yeah. I appreciate it. No, because this is an electronic virtual cyber hug right now that I'm getting from you. But
Aww.
yeah. But no, I feel like I'd never ordered anything on this is going to actually sound weird. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be embarrassed about this, but I've never ordered anything on Amazon in my life. Okay.
Wow.
I've never used it in my life. I know what it is, and now I'm signed up for an account, and in the last couple of days I've started ordering some things that I realized I forgot to get when I prepared and when I went to the grocery store. So I'm getting some more. Like I got a 10-pound bag of rice the other day because just in case this lasts a year, I've got a year's worth of rice. I got like 12 cans of canned beans, 12 cans of canned corn. I got a 59 pack of granola bars. Okay,
59.
Yeah. No, I'm in it for the long haul. Like I am thinking if this gets crazy and things get worse, then and I have to not leave my house for 18 months. I mean, I at least want to know how Amazon works. Okay, but the thing
still will not eat that rice.
What's that?
You still will not eat that rice.
I'm pretty good cook. I like making rice. I don't know if I'll get through 10-pound bag of rice, but I have. That's the emergency rice. That's the emergency rice. But the thing, what? Here's interesting, and then I want to talk about what you're doing. I haven't. I haven't received a package yet because I just ordered them the other day, and I feel kind of like it's like Christmas is coming or something. Like and if I'd thought of this, if I thought this would be my life when I was 48 years old, when I was 16 years old, listening to Public Enemy in my Sony Walkman and cruising down the street on my Tony Hawk skateboard, on my Bones Brigade skateboard, with my Gullwing trucks and my Kryptonics wheels or my rat bones, and if I thought, someday in the future, I would be sitting at home excited like Christmas was coming because 12 cans of corn were getting delivered, I would have thought that you were lying to me. Okay, so you tell me, you're at home.
Public Enemy, Chuck D. I love it. Maybe we can talk about that.
You have a huge.
Came over to my house recently.
Yeah, you have a huge musical history. An incredible artist. We're at home. I'm at home. Podcasting and putting my creative energy into this podcast. What are you putting your creative energy into right now while you're quarantined?
Well, I work with a company called We Are Here with Linda Perry and Carrie Brown. And with them, I'm helping them build a network for musicians because, musicians are getting hit double time. They already got socked to it with the Napster and all that stuff. Music has just been free, and their only way to make a living was to perform live. And now that's gone. So Linda and Carrie are putting together something with YouTube and Roland. And I think it's going to be on YouTube /We Are Here, HEAR. And we'll be launching here soon as we're putting all the things together with that to help out the musicians. And being an artist, I also have an art gallery that I've had in Hollywood since 2004 called La La Land. And I do various art shows and have over the years. But right now, I am putting together a show called Quarantine. It's a quarantine art show. It's an all ages art show where I will be sending out soon a call for entries for people to create art with some great social messaging, the stay home, the keeping the distance. Just keep your art theme that. And I want everybody to take the process of them making the artwork and post it on their socials, etc. And we're going to have the art show on the first day of summer, which is June 20th. Cord Art Teen Art Show. And if you want to learn more about that, you could just stay tuned to my Instagram, and I'll be posting tons of info on it. And that's just my name, which is Kiiarens.
Amazing.
It's all ages art show, and I'm reaching out to school districts and putting the agenda out there because, these kids are staying at home right now and they're going crazy. I figure an art show during this time gives them something to focus about, something to stay on point with the message, positivity.
That is so. It is so nice to hear about people like yourself and using this as an opportunity to help others. Right? People are going through a tough time right now. Like you said, musicians are not able to tour right now. It's their livelihood, and this project that you're working on is going to be amazing to help all of them. Are you finding that you have, with all this extra time that you have because we're in the house, do you sit down and draw or make your art in a different way? Are you more, like you to give people an example of when people want to see some of your art? I mean, you just did this incredible Public Enemy Bernie Sanders poster for the Bernie Sanders rally, which was very viral online, and I reached out to you as soon as I saw it because I loved it.
The Fight the Power poster,
yeah. How do you make something like that? First of all, is it on a computer or do you draw? When it came to this particular image, Bernie's staff sent me a photo and said, "Can you do something with this?" And I'm like, "Oh yes." I'm like, I want him to stand up there proud with it, holding up a mic, and fight the powers, the message. And it just so happens that the word Public Enemy has similarly amount of letters in it as does Bernie Sanders. So I just took the Public Enemy logo and turned it into Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders is a rebel and a badass, and he's not unlike Public Enemy when it comes to being straight and true to their messaging. And the combination of Public Enemy and Bernie Sanders might actually be the most rock and roll punk look for campaigns possibly ever. I mean, it's like, it was definitely a step out of the norm, and 20,000 people were going crazy at that event. And at a time where Bernie Sanders' popularity is at such an upswing, I'm still completely baffled about how Biden all of a sudden became super popular. But anyway, we don't need to go into that. But creating art for Bernie started for me back in 2016, and I did like a paint by numbers thing for Bernie Sanders back then, and just kind of continued to do it. And then they reached out to me for the Strokes show. I don't know if you saw that image. I recreated the Strokes logo of Bernie Sanders, which was another rock and roll moment for Bernie Sanders. So it's amazing.
Politically, that is what I've been up to recently. Did a bunch of stuff for the Women's March Women's March when that first started up back a few years back, and I'll always lend my art to causes and people that I believe in.
I find sometimes when I'm living in my normal life, when there's not a pandemic going on, that just like 1 week ago kind of thing, if I would get up in the morning on a normal day and I'd think, okay, I want to record a podcast today, or I want to make some music, or I want to write some jokes, and I make my coffee, and then I go sit down at the kitchen table or wherever I feel like writing that day or working, and then my mind has got another engine operating in another part of my mind while I'm trying to write the jokes, or while I'm trying to make the music, or while I'm trying to do the podcast. There's this other engine that's sort of turning and whirling around, and it's saying, what else could I do right now? Maybe I want to go down the street and get some food, or maybe you want to call this friend and invite them over, or go over to their house, or go out for lunch, or go do this, that, or the other thing, or maybe I have to go get my car fixed or run this errand. And so it's a major distraction in my mind trying to write and be creative, but at the same time, there's all these other things I'm trying to plan that I'm going to do. And now I'm finding myself in a situation for the first time in my life where I can't do any of that stuff. There's nothing else to do. And that engine that's always whirring away and making all this noise and distraction in my head has shut off for the first time.
The world has changed.
Yeah.
You know?
How's that? Is that affecting? Are you noticing that? Is that affecting you in any way? In
big time.
Yeah. How?
Big time. I feel like for some reason we've all been punished and we're all been sent to our rooms to sit and think about the way the world's operating right now. And at the end of it, I think it's going to be all for the better. I mean, there's going to be a lot of issues with death, and it's going to be terrible, et cetera. But when the dust settles, I think we're all have just kind of checked ourselves as we've wrecked ourselves.
I read this, and I'm by no means an art historian. I'm sure you are, but
I'm not.
Okay, well, I read that the Renaissance was a result of the bubonic plague. That after,
I believe that
yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, okay, we've been waiting for the new Nirvana. Give me about 2 weeks, and some band in some basement is going to be all freaking rogue with their masks rocking our faces off with a true message for the world to grab onto. We haven't had that since Nirvana.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to happen right now. And I think it's going to happen in arts. I think we're getting in touch with ourselves here. Little bit.
You've worked with incredible musicians. You've worked with Dolly Parton, with Devo, with the
Yes.
with the Pixies, with Elton John.
Just did their last video. Yeah, I actually just did his last music video for the Rocket Man movie, which was I'm Gonna Love Me Again. If you watch the Oscars, they used a bunch of my imagery. It was quite an exciting evening.
Tell me where people can look at that video right now while we're talking. The Elton John video for Rocket Man that you did. It's online, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's on my website, kiiarens.com, KIIARENS.com.
Okay,
Just
great.
scroll
Yeah,
down, it's there.
so
It's
while
YouTube,
everybody is listening right now to us talk, while you're listening, go have a look at some of the visuals that we're talking about. I think this is the fun about the internet. We can do two things at once on the internet. And then while we're talking, people just know while we're talking, people are looking at all your amazing art that you've done. So Van Halen, man. Van Halen. That was my high school era. Van Halen, 1984 album, Jump, Panama, Hot for Teacher.
I was at that show.
Oh man, I never got to see them live, but I would have loved to.
David Lee was wasted with the show I saw.
Oh
but
yeah.
Eddie Van Halen is my favorite guitar player of all time.
Yeah.
And it's not only that he's such a great lead guitar player, he's a rhythm guitar player that is mind-blowing. If you listen to like Mean Streets, Little Guitars, Unchained, these riffs that he came up with, unbelievable. And he was such a pioneer in sound. He was never satisfied with his own guitar. He would rip the thing apart and just pull components from other instruments that he liked the tone of. There's a really great interview with him, if you ever want to get deep on Eddie, that happened recently on PBS. It's like an hour and 10 minutes of glory of him telling the whole story. He even performs a little bit. I can't remember the name of the show. There's a woman who interviews him, and it's like a PBS thing. It's so good.
You know, I think he lives down in the neighborhood of your gallery. Because
I just ran into him.
Yeah, because I've seen him at Arts Deli down there near.
That's where I saw him.
Yeah.
Can I tell my Van Halen story?
Now we're blowing up Eddie Van Halen's lunch spot. But okay, yeah.
I saw him outside, and he was with a couple other musicians, and I was super kind, and I had my head down, and I slowly approached him, and he saw me coming. He's like, okay, there's a fan coming. And I just said, I would kill myself if I didn't tell you in person that you are my all-time favorite guitar player. And I actually had the pleasure to design the poster for your last performance at the Hollywood Bowl. And he goes, you kidding me? You did that, Art? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I have that hanging in my bedroom. And I'm like, yes.
Isn't that so cool? Wow, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
And so you know, I mean, that's amazing. Well, because your art really, I can see how musicians would really respond to what you're doing, because it's so much today when it comes to posters and internet art. It's so sort of computerized, and it really feels kind of almost formulaic and looks the same. And you're how would you describe what you do?
Straight from the gut, straight from the love of the artist that I'm creating for. Almost every artist that I've ever done artwork for is somebody that I really admire. So when I think about them, I'm the ultimate viewable armchair quarterback of all things in imagery. So I think, what does the typical Van Halen fan relate to? What is the gut level of Dolly Parton? What is all, and I try to bring that to the foreground. Same with Devo, such an awesome band.
Oh, yeah.
And just trying to what would I want on my wall is what I try to do. What would I want on my wall? And I go for it.
And then do you do it with a combination of computers and paint, or how does it actually come together?
It started really weird for me. I started doing spinel paint on my own, right?
I don't know what that means, actually.
Well, if you ever if you go to the fair, let's say, I'd go to the Minnesota State Fair, and this is where it actually began, where you go up to a booth and they have these little areas where you put a piece of paper down that spins really fast, and you drop paint on it and sprays out into different cool patterns and designs. And my original idea was what if I tried to make those designs make a little more sense?
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of how it started for me. So I did spin art. Of course, all the way through grade school, junior high, and high school, I just took every art course, silk screening course, every course I possibly could. Constantly obsessed with fonts and design from the get-go. I think at 7, I actually really did realize that is what I wanted to do. And now at 52, I still get as excited about, any new project as I ever have, thankfully.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, that's amazing. I think it's just it's going to be a crazy time for all of us, and I'm hopeful that we do learn something from this, and that we are able to channel all of our energy into something good, and hopefully this thing doesn't go on forever. Are you afraid of the sort of the worst case scenario here? I mean, are you experiencing any sort of fear about the actual virus itself? Are you worried about getting sick? Are you worried about friends and family getting sick?
I coughed the other day and just went, what? You know what I mean? And then, of course, time passed and I'm fine. I'm just trying to be really smart right now. And just with anything in life, I've always kind of, even though I'm not a surfer, I've looked at life like a surfer. You're on that board is yours. But where that wave is going, you just got to figure that out, and just stay in that frame of mind. So I feel like goodness in the end will take this, and it'll end. It'll be over at some point. I feel my gut level says by the end of summer, we'll pretty much have it figured out. I mean, the fact that China reported yesterday that there were no new cases in China. Now, what news source that came from? Oh my God, who knows? I hope it's true. But if it is true, that tells everybody that there's an end, Yeah. There is an end to this.
Yeah. Do you ever kind of have this feeling when it happens to me every morning when I wake up? There's a moment where I wake up and, you're kind of groggy and, your kind of eyes adjust to the I've been going to bed very early and waking up at around 4:30 in the morning every day. and I
Ditto.
seeing the sunrise, because we're lucky to live in Los Angeles, and there's a beautiful weather here, and it's nice to enjoy the day, and ways of staving off sadness and depression. If you're cooped up in the house and not getting enough exercise, sunlight is something that's definitely recommended to people. Get some vitamin D.
Yeah.
Spend at least 15, 20 minutes actually out sitting in the sun every day. Don't sit in the house all day. If you can go out in the patio or backyard, or just get that sun on your face and on your body for a second, that's a helpful thing. But I think we're lucky to have that. I actually just lost my train of thought because I started thinking about sunlight. Where was I going with that, Kai?
I like sun.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just talking about waking up at 4 a.m.
Yes,
and the new way of life.
No. Actually, I was I was thinking for right now. I was thinking maybe I'm going to edit that part out where I forgot what I was talking about, and then you reminded me. But I'm actually going to leave it in because it's ridiculous. But no, I wake
and that's
up.
the joy of this kind of radio.
Yeah, exactly.
It's real.
Yeah, it's definitely got my show is definitely riddled with imperfections. But I wake up in the morning, and then I adjust to the fact that I'm awake, and then I kind of remember what's happened. There's a minute where there's that second where I've forgotten that we're in a pandemic, and can't really go outside. And then I remember, and then I get up and I get on with the day, and I make coffee, and I check my emails, and I do the things I would normally do, but there's this different sort of sense of urgency to every little thing that I'm doing right now. I feel like my mind is operating on a different sort of, at a different speed in a way,
I feel like what you had said earlier too about how is this thing affecting us. I think when you look at your things in your life, you really shed the stuff that really did not make a lot of difference or make sense. Like, it's down to what really matters right now. And I think it's like a spring clean for everybody's lives come together and, sort it out.
Yeah, there's just so much superficiality in the world, and sort of.
and as we're saying that from our homes in sunny California, there are people out there that are in really tough times right now, and I really gotta say we gotta continue to communicate that staying at home means that a doctor at a hospital at some point will be able to go home. It's like that one's a big one. Could you imagine if you worked there? You work somewhere where you had no choice but to be in contact with people every day? You're putting your life at risk. It's literally like joining the military.
Yeah, I when I went to the grocery store 4 days ago, I actually tweeted that grocery store clerks and baggers are the heroes of this pandemic too. There's so many heroic people, but to go out and be there when people are saying socially isolate, and then you're told to stand there and have a line of thousands of people come through and be within 2 feet of you all day so you can give people food. These are people that are, just, like young people, a lot of them are like, reminded me of when I was their age. If I had my job, I had a job at a grocery store for a moment. I did a lot of jobs working with the public as a dishwasher, and I worked at Dairy Queen as a cashier and a cook, and I can make peanut butter parfaits like you wouldn't believe. And
did a lot of your friends used to come in and get free dilly bars?
I wasn't able to slide them a free dilly bar, but I would do things.
Come on, dude.
Well, no, because I was like, they watched like a hawk there. But I'd do things like I'd put like an extra patty on their burger, and like things like that.
All right.
Yeah, like I'd swing them like because the burger was the Dairy Queen Brazier. It was called. I don't know if like if they have that in the States, but where they cooked
back in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah, charbroiled burgers. So my friend would come and order a single burger, and maybe once in a while, I'd slide slide them a double burger. That's some Canadian underhanded behavior right there, swinging your buddy an extra patty. But like I can't imagine, I can't imagine how hard that must be to be working with the public right now. It must be a little scary working with the public right now, knowing that you could get sick.
Yeah, it's puzzling as hell.
And I wake up and I remember this is happening, and then you start to think, okay, what haven't we really thought of yet? And I also think we are in this sort of early stage where I do still feel like it's acceptable to go on to the podcast and try to have a positive and hopeful conversation with you and with the guests here, because it hasn't gotten, in this country, it's just starting, like the hearing people are being hospitalized is just starting. And
it's just starting. I find it funny that people are like, hey, settle down. It's not as bad as the flu.
Yeah.
Since when did the flu cause 2.5 million people to lose their job in a week?
Yeah, exactly.
Never.
Exactly.
Anyway.
And I just worry about where we're going to...
Last time I looked up in the dictionary, pandemic mentioned nothing about a Democratic hoax.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my God, I cannot believe it.
So you're very political. I
am.
What are your thoughts on the political situation and how this is being handled by the government?
I actually think this situation will be the actual downfall of Cheeto fuckface.
Yeah.
So that's my position there.
Yeah.
And who's going to take that place? It's still a long way away to the election. We have a tendency to want to answer a question to file it away, but in this immediate social era that we live in, things, as we've seen, can change in a week. And so could the election. And so could a new hero come about. I mean, a lot of people are starting to talk about Cuomo, because he really came out and did what a president should do when this all went down and dished out the right information. And for those of you who don't feel like you've gotten the right information that are listening to the show, I'd recommend searching out Cuomo's his take on everything that's going on.
Yeah. What is his take? Like what is it that he's doing? What is it that he's doing that is really kind of standing up for you as something that's remarkable?
Well, I mean, I think he scared a lot of people that thought everything was okay.
Yeah.
He's sticking to the facts and being very strong in his position on staying home and when Trump wasn't there yet, and he's just being a smart leader, which we don't have right now.
Yeah, and obviously people that would disagree with Cuomo, right? Like may think, okay,
yeah.
what if we shouldn't be staying home? What happens if in 3 months from now this isn't as bad as we were told, and there is this whole economic shutdown and all the restaurants that go out of business and all the people that lose their jobs. So there's this delicate dance that's being walked by everybody right now, and then it's a complicated thing to understand, because the reason that this may not be as bad as it could be is because we're doing what we're doing right now. And so
yes.
people need to understand that, but people don't seem to take the time to really get into the science of how viruses spread and how to stop them and they're out in Fort Lauderdale dancing on the but people think people hear people on social media saying it's just like the flu, more people die from the flu, like you said, more and so they go, I don't shut down my business because of the flu every year. I'm not going to cancel my trip to spring break because of the flu. And then you see thousands of kids on spring break saying I don't want to ruin. I mean, do you think that feeling is starting to kind of like subside? And is the reality of this kicking in?
I think it is. I mean, everybody has a platform right now for disinformation, and I feel like that so much has been put out there that those kids and those people, just on a general level, become numb to it, and that's why they've stopped paying attention, and that's why the youth don't want to vote and just stuff like that. I feel like it's just gotten so out of hand that I hate to say, his reporting of fake news constantly has taken effect where people have just kind of shut up, or just not shut up. They've stopped listening, and they're just moving on with life on a primal level.
Yeah, and nobody knows what to believe right now. Nobody knows, like, if you read this and it's good information and you don't know if you should believe it or not, so then nobody knows what to do. And I think that's the real tragedy here of what's going on in our world right now, is that we have no real source of information that we can trust. And that's kind of why I want to do this podcast. Because when I talk to people like yourself and the wide variety of people and just have a conversation and really, I do try to steer it sort of right down the middle so that it isn't a partisan thing, and I can try to, I'm speaking to, both sides here. We have lots of people listening who are Donald Trump supporters, lots of people listening who hate the guy, and I don't want this to turn into sort of a, comments.
This is my opinion being stated. Other people that I think deserve the high five in what you're doing as well is like Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah.
His show and the wide variety of guests that he has on all sides of all fences. And somehow he just knows how to keep those questions going for 2 to 3 hours. And he has me till the end. Yeah. Sam Harris is another one for me. He's a little more stiff in his delivery, et cetera. But the guests that he has on there, the true experts dealing out the information, really are helpful. And I don't know if
I aspire to do a show as amazing as Joe's. I mean, Joe Rogan has done such incredible things. He used to come up on my internet show back in the early days of the Webovision, and he was very, very advanced for a comedian at the time, for a stand-up with his website. He had all this, really, really advanced stuff going on his website. And I remember the first time we kind of sat down in my living room back in, I think it was like 2007, and did my goofy web show. We sort of had this instant sort of like realization that, like, wow, this is pretty cool. And now to see what he's done, where he's essentially taken what I was trying to do and really figured out how to really hit a mass audience, because he's also, he's just such a dynamic guy. I think what I was doing was a little bit too weird, for I loved
it.
I'm a bit of a weird guy, but he was able to figure out how to hit a mass mainstream audience, and it's so exciting to see and inspiring to see.
Can I just say that you are the Sex Pistols of reality television? Anybody ever made that comparison?
I don't know. It sounds pretty good to me.
I mean,
yeah. I'm going to have my mom. But I'm going to have my mom is going to be. She doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to ask my mom, who was on my show. I do pranks on her.
Okay.
I'm going to have my mom be. I'm going to ask my mom to be the talent booker. The talent booker for my show. Yeah, the Sex Pistols wouldn't involve their mom.
I'm taking that back. I'm taking that back. All of a sudden, Barney's on your show.
I'm going to have my mom booking talent for the show. She doesn't know this yet. I'm going to have she's going to start a Twitter page, and she's trying to get Oprah. Because my mom said to me the other day, you should get Oprah on the show. I said, well, I don't have Oprah's number. And she said, well, I said, maybe you can get Oprah. And my mom says, I'm going to try to get Oprah. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Hey, I was just going to bring up the fact that which is politically involved in music and art. I'm making music with a band called Jinx. And we have a song we wrote and did a video for it, which is all about the craziness that's going on in the world, called "Don't Push That Button," in where you play a Russian newscast.
Yeah, I'm in the video. I am actually in the video. This is already done. I play a Russian.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We had fun making that. Thanks for asking me to be a part of it. And where can people watch that? Well,
we've yet to debut it. Maybe we debut it with this podcast.
Yeah. Incredible. Well, this will
potentially.
be going up immediately. So that's incredible.
Well, we're not ready yet, so give us a week.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I can hold this one back and wait for you then. That's okay.
Ooh, Smithers.
I'm trying to get them up there as quickly as possible because I feel like the story of this situation with the virus is evolving so quickly. So I feel like we're sort of talking about something that's happening real and right now. And
don't wait for our video.
Yeah,
just do it because I think this conversation needs just to continue in the real time.
Yeah, it'll be up immediately. But Kii, man, this is amazing. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it, and I'm hoping that this thing is over quick so we can actually hang out in person soon.
Yes, definitely. Maybe go hang out with our good buddy Jeff Ross and
absolutely
kick back a couple and talk about just sit there and wipe our foreheads off and go, damn, glad that was a close one, dude.
Oh my gosh. What are you eating though? What do you make yourself to eat now when you're home on your own? And are you a cook or do you know how to cook or
no, I'm not really. I juice it a lot. But I managed to score a turkey before this all went down. A couple days back, I made a big old turkey. So I've got turkey and sandwiches, turkey soup.
Whoa.
Turkey, everything. And, I bought the basics. I got the rice. I got all that stuff. And then I managed to score 2 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts, which is probably going to be the death of me.
Wow. You made a turkey. That sounds amazing.
I love it. You should make it. It makes the house smell so good all day. You roast it for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh, my gosh.
Can you still find a turkey?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Been out in a while.
I think if one flies by, it might not make it past the house, though. That's all I can say. Do turkeys fly? I don't even know.
No. Remember that episode of WKRP in Cincinnati?
I mean, you want to talk?
They do not fly.
Yeah, turkeys don't fly, yeah. Yeah, you want to talk about doomsday prepping. I have a friend. He will remain nameless, but he's a very well-known and famous comedian, but I'm not going to say because I didn't tell him I was going to say this. But he has gotten animal traps for his house, for his yard, so that if we go into
Arsenio is so crafty.
If we go into a doomsday scenario and there's no food, he plans on trapping squirrels and the errant possum that may be walking past. Probably start another coronavirus. Eating a carrion out of his backyard in Hollywood. But listen, thanks for talking, man. And
the new possum syndrome.
Oh my gosh, I hope it doesn't come to that. I'm sticking with my beans and rice and corn and granola bars. All right, thanks, Kii.
Tom Green, you're absolutely a treasure to everybody on the face of the earth. Thanks for making everybody laugh and feel great about being weird, and you're forever young, and thanks for having me on your show, pal.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Keep doing amazing things, and I'll talk to you very soon. Okay?
Peace, buddy.
Peace. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Tom Green Podcast, and thank you to Kii Arens for your insight and for your friendship. I'll be back tomorrow with another great guest and more surprises. Be safe, everybody.